Hello! Welcome to the farm, or I should say welcome to the shop. My dad sent me a message today. He saw one of my videos and he said, "Did you get a snowmobile?" And it made me realize I haven't shared all my toys with you guys. You've seen the stuff in the videos and whatnot, but I haven't shared what I've got, what I plan on doing with things and just kind of what goals and dreams and hopes are of some of the junk I got laying around here. But, I figured I'd give you a tour of my toys, so to say. So, we got a couple you can see right behind me. We're going to start off with this. It's called a mini chopper. It's a 49cc. And that's literally, it's called a mini chopper. Growing up, a couple friends in the town I grew up in had these. Their dad bought them. They were black, matching set, and they rode around town. Now me and my buddy Jordan shared this old Montgomery Ward mini bike, which is actually the back half of this go-kart. We'll get into that later. But anyways, I always wanted one of these, and I saw a deal come up on Facebook within like 15 minutes of it being posted. I think the guy wanted like 120 bucks or something for it. He said it kind of ran, but leaked gas and had issues. None of the lights worked, and speedometer doesn't work and whatnot. Anyways, I sent him a message. I basically said, I'm in my truck right now. I'm an hour away from you, but I'm on my way, cash in hand. I'm not haggling at all. I'm paying you what you want. What's an address? Apparently everybody else who was messaging him, yeah, it was only on for 15 minutes, but when you see a good deal like that, they're usually gone quick. Everybody else who messaged him asked questions. That's one way I get good deals, is I don't ask questions. I say, hey, I'm there now. Let's make a deal. And that's how I get most of my toys. Everything just aligns up right. So anyways, went and picked this up. Y'all saw me and Kylie make the video where we replaced the carburetor on it, replaced the battery on it, did a little bit of work on it with new brake levers so the brakes work. I've got new blinkers, but we're waiting to do that until Kylie learns to ride it better, because I figure if she dumps it, I'd rather have the old busted parts on while she learns. So that's the mini chopper. Next up you got, it's right here. I'm probably gonna have to put you down to show you. This is a go-kart that I started building. It started when I was 13 doing landscaping with a couple friends. We did some work to get an old Montgomery Ward mini bike. It needed new needle and seat put in the carburetor, and I knew how to do that. We had the parts, he gave it to us, we fixed that bike, and we rode that bike all around town growing up. We got, so much trouble with that thing. And you know what? Small town living, that's one thing I love about it. Anyways, fast forward a few years, a friend crashes the bike into the side of the local church. It's a whole nother story. Nicholas, if you're watching. Anyways, so that mangled it. So after that happened, what I ended up doing is I chopped off the back end. So from here back is the mini bike, the jack shaft and all that. My dad helped me with it. This is actually off of a tiller, I think. Or a snowblower, I don't know. It used to have a 4-horse. This is a 6.5, I believe. And anyways, from there, this is scrap diamond plate that I was able to get from a scrap yard. I guess it was like throwaway stuff from a metal shop. This right here, you can't tell, but this was actually bed frame that my dad box welded together for me into tube. So that's what builds that. This is angle iron, again, scrap metal. This tube up here, I believe, was bought from a blacksmith. And then you've got my steering system, which is angle iron up to a Murray lawnmower steering system that I cut off and had my dad help me weld up to here. The steering, believe it or not, this is the steering off of the mini bike, the original mini bike. I've got Polaris handlebars, key switch and everything. This is hooked up. This is not, it's got electric start, but no battery. It's a work in progress, and this throttle is so stiff, it's hard to drive. And y'all saw I flipped it too. Another interesting thing about this that I did when I was, probably 10 years ago, I put a little spring on it and I made it so it's, it's swings here. So it has a little bit of a suspension because boy, does that thing hurt your butt. And if you watch my videos, you know I like to jump stuff. Next up, toy. Well, I guess this isn't a toy, but this is a car that I got for free with my other Eclipse purchase. Is a parts car. It came with a bunch of stuff. I've actually stripped a lot out of it. The whole front cradle, the engine, I took that all in for scrap. And yeah, I don't know what I'm going to be doing with this. I had it online for parts and people just kept asking dumb questions. So I let my daughter hit it with a hammer and we do fun stuff. Maybe someday we'll shoot out windows or put a bunch of firecrackers in it. I don't know. This is my new baby. I used to have a 2006 Suzuki Katana 600 crotch rocket, and I love that bike. You know what? And I'll show you the last picture I have. Kylie's sitting on that bike right now. That bike I love to ride, but it's not something safe for children. And Kylie always asked to ride on it, and I always said no, and she said why? And I said because law states you can't reach foot pegs, you can't ride. One day she got on it and she reached the foot pegs. I put it for sale that week. And it sold to somebody in North Dakota. It was a salvage title, so I put it on there I think for like $1,700. It was an 06 with 24,000 on it. I don't know, it was low enough miles to be worth a little bit of money. It was clean, as you can see from the picture. Anyways, and then I picked up this, which is a 2007 Honda BTX 1300. It's not the 1800, but you know what, I don't care. One of the things I loved about it, it came with the saddlebags and the backrest. The armrest has been added on. The handlebars I hate, they're too far forward, but I put the windshield on, which is just a cheap $40 eBay one. It also came with the sidebars, the steps. I put these on. This is $50 eBay pedals that I actually modified because they didn't work originally and they broke off, so I fixed them so they work now. Custom brake lever. He did that. He was 6 foot tall, or actually I think they said he was 6'2", and this bike was custom for him. I'm 5'8", so let me just let's show you guys what it looks like when I try to get on this thing and why I don't like the handlebars. You know, it fits me good. Perfect for cruising, you know. My legs up. Yeah, but these handlebars, man, I'm sitting like this. I need something right about there. Right about there would be perfect. Flat, oh. So that's what I'm looking to get. It'd be perfect for the backrest, and then, you know, I love this bike for Kylie because when I'm sitting back, my back's sitting right here. She's back here. She's nice and enclosed. She's got a helmet she wears, but she stays nice and comfy on there. So that's my beautiful VTX, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I got a deal on it. I love it. Now, another one of my projects right here. This is 4G63T 6-bolt crank. If you look down there, you'll see the 6 bolts on the crankshaft. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's the better of the two because you got the 7-bolt. This was only in the first couple years of the cars, which if you've seen, I have that vehicular system. Let me see if I got a flashlight and I can show you the reason why this is sitting here though. Whoop, whoop, whoa, 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 whoa. If you look down the cylinder, scoring, scoring, scoring. Bad on all of them. The bearings, even worse. The head. I bought a car, I bought the car for cheap. That's another one of my toys, the red one that's sitting outside. I'll take you to that one next. It's my 1991 Eagle Talon TSI. It is the first half year, which means it still has those super sexy pop-up lights. I had a 90 when I was in high school, and it was my pride and joy. It was a black and silver two-tone 90. Now this is the red one that has the stupid stripe on the side. But I bought this, and all it needed was a turbo, the guy said. He said it ran fine, beautiful car. It was his grandpa's. His grandpa babied it. Come to find out, yes, it did eat a turbo. It swallowed that turbo whole, spit it through the intake, took out all the valves. There's nothing left of the head. Took out all the cylinders with scoring, took out all the bearings. That I think I can save the crankshaft, but I don't know. I might have to go with some oversized bearings to do that. So that's why that motor got put on the block. He also told me there was a little bit of damage right down here. Well, come to find out, no, there's a lot of bit of damage. That was more prominent. You couldn't notice it until I got the motor out, but that front end's been tweaked a little bit. So the plan with this, the aspirations with this is to chop the front, do a tube chassis, but I want to make it a street legal tube chassis, roll cage it so it can still be a daily, but I want it something that can still go on the track, you know, someday. I'm 30 years old, and you know what, I got another 70 years of this left in me, so I won't be doing this till I'm 100, you know, until I can't no more. Anyways, if you look at it, it's squatting in the back because inside of it, I've got a full rebuild kit for that engine right there. The problem is, scored cylinders, I gotta oversize it. So I do have oversized pistons for it, but that's kind of out of the budget right now with the boost gauges and everything is in there. Turbo timer, and I do need to get a new computer for it. It's locked, so I can't show you inside. I don't have the keys on me, but in the back, the reason it's squatting like this, it's got 2 transmissions in the back. It's got the head in the back, 2 intakes, whole bunch of parts. So when that other car comes out of the garage, this one's gonna be going back in before long, and I'm gonna have my high school car. I'm gonna be that 70-year-old dude driving the car that's, you know, 70 years old. That car is 1 year younger than me. And it's gonna be an awesome, valuable car because I kept it. That's what I'm hoping. That car has no rust on it, I love it. So that brings me to this next one. If y'all saw the video on this, this is my Polaris Trail Boss that I bought from my friend Riley, who owns that snowmobile. That snowmobile is not mine. It's just something I'm fixing on, but. So this thing, yeah, the gasoline turned to caramel inside of it. It had some issues, so it got parked. It was still running, it just had issues. So, yeah, I think that was in 2005 it got parked. Or that was the last time it was tagged, so I don't know. Maybe it got drove more from then. But, so I got a sweet deal on that. Thank you, Riley. I'm very grateful for that. Like I told him, I don't think, you know, I keep saying it was a sweet deal. It wasn't necessarily that it was an amazing deal, but it was somebody selling something for what it's worth. You see these frames selling for $300, $400, $500, where you're gonna put $2,000, $3,000 into fixing it. You might as well have bought a four-wheeler. No, I get something cheap. I might have to put a little bit of money into it, but that's why I do it that way. So that's all the toys that I have inside the garage. You know, I got my cherry picker. I guess that's a toy I love too. And someday, over there, I got a 220 outlet. So someday I'm gonna have me that welder. So coming out to the garage, y'all see my 2nd gen. It's got the 24 valve Cummins. It's the first series of the 24 that's supposed to not have the killer dowel pin. So I'm hoping she keeps going strong, but that's got 240,000 miles on it, maybe 250 now. The tires are so shot, it ain't worth driving though. That's my wood hauler / drive around, have fun. I love it because it gets good mileage and 500 miles through the tank. Over here you got my 2009 Sun-L 150, which y'all have probably seen Kylie driving around. This is what I had before the Trail Boss. I got this for free because it was beyond, oh my gosh, it looked nothing like this. I've done so much work to this. The brakes have been replaced. All the electrical's been gone through. It had a mouse nest in it. It was bought almost new, and then it sat outside for I don't know how many years, just not touched in the woods. And so fixed it up, got it running, and I thought the transmission went out. In fact, if you see a video I put out, I said the transmission went out. And looking at Kylie ride it, I don't believe that's true. I think what it's looking like happened, because this chain is pretty tight, I think the axle's a little bent and it's allowing the chain to jump. So I think I need to tighten it a little bit more, because you should have some play in the chain. So I mean, that chain shouldn't jump, I thought, but I'm pretty sure it's a chain jumping when I was watching her drive. And so hopefully, because when she drives it, yeah, it doesn't make any weird noises. And another cool thing about this is I talked about my Suzuki GSX Katana F-Series. It's not a Gixxer, I know. It had an integrated taillight and blinkers, so that was all in the back. Well, because it had that, I had the original taillight. So I still have, working on this four-wheeler, my motorcycle's original taillight. So, and actually, it's, yeah, running and brakes, so. The 2 lights on it were the cheapest hunk of crap ever. I fabricated a plate to make that fit, and oh, I love it. So next up, you got Kylie's Bad to the Bone Grave Digger. Yeah, this is her fun toy that I don't even think the battery's in right now. I'm pretty sure I took it out. Oh, never mind. Oh yeah! Yeah! Get you some of that. Yeah, I'm sure y'all have seen those. I mean, you got so many people who have turned those into go-karts. So when Kylie gets big enough, my dad and I went half in on that for her, I think, or something. I don't know. I put some down, he put some down. Kylie loves it. Thank you, Dad. You help us a lot. Thank you, Mom, too. You help us a lot, too. And I'm sorry if I don't mention you a lot in the videos, you know. I love everybody, though, so that's the bad to the bone. This is my little Clark 310 skid steer, which came with the farm. I sort of wrote it into the offer. They were asking a certain price for the farm. I offered $8K extra because I had some contingencies. And actually it was $10K extra, but it was on the contingency they cover closing, which made it $8K. And one of those contingencies was I wanted this Bobcat. One of the things I didn't realize is it's got a single cylinder, 16 horse Kohler, which, you know, it's an okay little motor, but it's got absolutely no compression. To start this thing, oh, and when it does run, you hit a bump wrong and it dies, unless it's full throttle. And it's kind of funny too, because when you shut it down, it goes like the motor just goes on forever. So over here you got some stuff that needs some fixing. This is a lawnmower. All that's wrong with it is it's got a busted bolt. So I got it for free because of that. And it was a welded on tab in here that these Polans have that breaks off. And I've seen this happen before. I've picked them up before, and all I do is I drill a hole right where that broke, and I put a steel bolt through on both sides, and then you can usually sell these things for 75 bucks. Somebody gets himself a nice cheap mower. It's gonna work good for a while, and I make some money outside of the street. Same story over here, free snowblower. Just, it runs, but it leaks gas like a sieve, so that's a project for another day. Old microfiber couch and furniture from my old house that I just haven't found a spot for. Dad's tiller, garbage that I don't have enough to take to the dump yet, so I pile it here till I do. That saves me money, because if I take my trailer in, it's $20. No matter how much is in my trailer, it's always $20. I can have that thing stacked, overflowing, or I can have it half full. It's $20. So I've learned, fill it full. And actually, you know, I'm going to show you guys this real quick too. I'm going to show you how the compression is in this skid steer. I love this skid steer, but she ain't no spring chicken. Listen to the startup. One more time. Believe it or not, this is typical. I'm not worried at all. But then it does this. Oh, yeah, it's not dying. That's surprising. So, once it's going, it runs pretty good, but the diesel, right? No. Here's the funny part. That was the motor turning, just oh, I'm sorry, I'm a goon. Anyways, this is Kylie's, I'm gonna call it. This is a 13 horsepower Murray. I think this was, they were asking 200. I said, I got 120, I'll come right now. And he said, oh, I can't do that, I need blah, 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 blah. And I said, no, 120. And you know, I couldn't be happier. I love it. There's a busted pin down here that I got to fix that the belt wore through. It was always throwing belts. Well, the thing that holds the belt in place, that wore out and broke off. Plus the thing that holds the deck up, I hit a rock and broke that. So that's my bad. Also, the lights aren't hooked up. So 8 things I was able to point out to get them down in price. But one thing I love about this is this isn't one of those dumb hydrostatics. This is true belt-driven gearbox. What's good about that is you can have your dad weld you up a nice little receiver, bolt that son of a gun onto the back, and as long as you got traction, this thing will pull. And that's the thing, is I don't have to worry about blowing out my hydrostat because it's a belt. Worst comes to worst, I smoke a $20 belt. So that's my pulling rig slash Kylie's fun mower slash going through the tall weeds. Boat doesn't belong to me. That's a friend of mine. I'm letting them park it here. Let me rephrase that. The pontoon doesn't belong to me. This is my 1986 Sea Nymph. I think it's an 86. Holy cow! This is my 1981 Sea Nymph. Now the thing about this, you'll notice some damage along the side here. This was tied up on a dock at a resort, and it came up against the dock here, and it hit here, and it ripped this whole top piece off. And so this boat actually sank as it sits. This boat, motor, everything sank to the bottom of the lake. It went out. I mean, you can see it got some damage from the dock there, but it's got a lot of damage all around from that. And so it was a total loss from the insurance claim, or whatever, insurance. So they bought it back, and somebody who worked at the resort sold it to somebody who put it in a barn for years. Next thing you know, I saw it online for $600, and you know what? Another tactic for getting good deals. $600 was too much. I was willing to pay $300 to $400 because I figured the trailer's worth $250. The boat was worth maybe $200 if I could do anything with it. But I mean, the floor was shot. There was no seats in it. It was horrible. Anyways, well, it turns out he didn't have the title for the trailer. But the trailer's got a lifetime license. It's still registered to the resort, but it's not registered, it's stolen. So I don't care, it's got a lifetime license. It just means that I can't technically put it in my name, but it's registered, so I don't think that's an issue. Anyways, so yeah, I got this boat for $200. I mean, because I said, what do you need for it? He said, well, the trailer's not registered, I want $400. And I was like, oh, the trailer. I said, let's make a deal. You go to the DMV with me. If you can get them to put that trailer in my name, I'll give you $400. If you can't, I'll give you $200. And he said yes. He said yes. And you know what? The motor was okay. I had to rewire some of it. I got rid of the VRO fuel pump and I put in its own vacuum powered fuel pump. And so I just mixed gas with it. I got the little 6-gallon tank down here, which I eventually want to put a floor tank in, but you know, that gets this 95 horse going once across the lake. I've ran out of gas a few times. It's got a brand new steering box in it. And I had to put, as you can see over there, knockoff Bombardier controls in it, which, you know what? I'm a fan of knockoff because it's like buying brand name stuff without QC involved, you know? So sometimes you get some good stuff, and I love this control. It's actually... Everything works good. I could probably start this right now. Oh, gotta turn the power on. Yeah, 10 volts, she needs some juice. But, yeah, so that's my boat. It hasn't ran for a while because I flooded it out with some, I put too much oil in it one day, and that was my bad. So that's my Sea Nymph, which is a work in progress. I replaced the entire floor in it. I put carpeting in it. I put these seats in. They were used seats, and I ended up breaking them on accident when I was moving. They fold down into benches, and I still go back and forth on how to do it, but you know. And then I put a casting deck up here, which had a seat on it, but I took the seat off because it just, I built it, and I'm not happy with it, so I'm gonna be redoing it. Next up is a project we got coming up, hopefully before long. This is, you can tell what that is. It's an old copper-clad wood stove. And for cooking, and that's going in the house someday. I'm gonna restore it. It's all porcelain paint. The problem with it is the chrome's gone bad, which happens on these, and it's really expensive to rechrome, but you can strip that and paint it with some heat resistant paint. So I figured black and white. Oh my gosh, it meant to be. So then next up you've got the 1987, 88 Sunbird GT Turbo. This used to be mine, but I sold it to my mom. It's just here now. It's for storage. The reason the hood's popped is because I tried to start it the other day and the battery needs to be charged up. But as you see, she's got the 2-liter turbo. It's a single cam Spectra intake that adds 10,000 horsepower. So she's super fast. No, it does all right, but there's no oxygen sensor in it. So It gets a little ticked off from time to time, but it's a fast, fun car. Come over here, you got my 2001 Eclipse, which I just picked this thing up, and this is my $1,000 car. Again, I get these good deals just because. No, this one needs new control arms in the front. I can feel the bushings are going out. I think the tie rods might be going out too. It needs some suspension work. RockAuto.com and a little bit of wrench time myself. I'll have this thing fixed up, no problem. But the thing I love about it, it's clean. I mean, it is beautiful. It ain't rusty. For an 01 in Minnesota, like, I love this car. I love my first gens, but this is the first new style I've ever had. And so, and you might be a little country if you got a light bar in your Eclipse. Again, that boat belongs to the same people who own the pontoon. So that's my snow blower. I traded a pool table for this snow blower and a Craftsman lawnmower. I bought the pool table for $200. I put $100 into felt. I re-leveled it. I redid the bumpers and everything, like the felt and all that. I made it perfect. And so I traded it for these, and I had $300 into it. I sold that Craftsman for, I think, $450, and I still have the snowblower. I've had to fix it a few times, but I love that thing as well. I mean, and then another thing that came with the farm as part of that $8,000 with contingencies was that I get this nice John Deere 110, 19 horse mower that's only got, okay, it's got 88 hours on it. I don't know if that's a lot, but it's a John Deere. I mean, that's $1,000 right there, just for the nameplate. So, I mean, the tire then is $1,000 a piece, right? So that's $5,000. The seat, that's $1,000. And that, oh man, like if I can peel the stickers off, I bet you those are worth $20,000. So, I think that's it for my toys, other than, you know, my other daily truck, which is the 2001 Nissan Xterra. Do I have any other toys? You might have too many toys if you ask that. Let's grab my jacket, go inside. I'll show you the Nissan real quick. Funny thing about this shop, you gotta go over here to shut off these lights. And then over here, you can shut off the middle lights. And then you can shut off the last lights. Head out. I don't think I have any toys over here. Yep, nope, that's just storage. So, anyways, and out through here, you got my, I think it's a 2001 Nissan Xterra. I could be wrong on the year, but the thing about that year is, number one, it has the least recalls of any of the Xterras. It just had a recall on the ABS sensor, which I brought it in and got my whole rear axle redone because of it. Apparently moisture gets in, it takes out the bearings, and if there's damage to the bearings, they have to replace them, regardless of the miles. So always check for recalls, guys, because I picked this thing up, I think for $2,000, and I traded in a truck, so I got $1,500 into it. I've had it for almost 2 years now. Well, if you'll notice, there's a bit of a light change. The battery died as I was showing you guys my last toy of the fleet. So as I was saying, it's my 91 Nissan Xterra, the new rear end, thanks to a recall. This is the year where they did not have the coilover suspension. They had the torsion bar. So if you'll notice, this one looks like it squats. It actually had a torsion lift by the previous owners who put the brand new oversized Firestone tires on it. So they were new when I got it. Curb rub was not me, I don't know, that was them. But anyways, yeah, one thing I like about that over the coilovers is although the coilovers are a little more upgradable, the torsion style I think is a little stronger. I've had this thing airborne on numerous occasions, and it's a fun beast that can really handle some stuff. I put a Reese hitch on it, receiver. And it's funny because U-Haul tells me that this isn't capable of hauling cars, so I tell them that I'm just using this to pick the trailer up, and I'll be using a different truck to haul the cars, and that the only reason I'm using this to get the trailer is because it gets better mileage. They believe it, and that's how I got the red Eclipse here and the maroon Eclipse here, and the red one's actually an Eagle Talon. But that's how I got those here. This is how I moved here. This thing can handle just about anything with its 3.6 V6, 3 point something V6. Same as my dad's Dodge minivan, but it's a manual. and that's what's beautiful about it. And even it's got that military sound to the panels. Stamped steel, no, but that's the manual, same as the Eclipse and the Talon. I think my only auto is the gray truck. And anyways, that's all my toys. So thanks for watching, and you know, if you like what I'm doing here, if you like seeing me work on the house or the mini bikes or just driving around in the go-karts, you know, I'm going to be doing all that stuff all the time on this channel. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button so you see those videos when they come out. Thanks for joining. Y'all have a great day.